top of the morning. So I have skunked the last 12 times I've come out, and in an attempt to fix that, I think on the 11th time I went out, I decided it's finally time to get a fish finder. And today's video is going to be me coming out with a fish finder for my very first time. Brand spanking new. So here we are. We got a fish finder, and it's all in hopes of trying to make it so I can catch a bass today. And this is an investment I've been wanting to make for the upcoming tournament season anyways, but after skunking 11 times, it just increased my motivation to finally get one. So this is a humminbrid Helix 7. It has ultra down and side imaging. There's a lot of different types of fish finders, but this is a pretty top of the line thing to have on a fishing kayak. Let's go ahead and just get it going. For starters, just so you know, I got the Yak Attack fully loaded kit. This has the battery box, the transducer arm, and the mount. It's all right here. There's no drilling of holes into the kayak or anything. I just wanted to keep this as simple as possible, and this is the route I've gone. So I can simply take this transducer arm here, and we're gonna drop it into the water. Never done this before. This is interesting. There we go. It is in the water. And let's go ahead and fire it up. We're gonna turn it on for the very first time. Cool. Press menu for startup options. All right, menu. Normal, sure. Here we go. We are on. Water type, fresh, okay. All right, we are online. There's all different types of settings that we need to tinker with on here. We stick with, I like this one. All right, I think we're gonna start with that. And let's go ahead and we're gonna do a little moving around here. I hope you guys can see well enough. It looks like you can. Let's go down to the range. This is a pretty shallow lake, so I'm going to be zoomed in just a little bit more now so you can see things a little bit better. Alright, this is pretty cool. Now we can really see some structure down there. You can see there's a bunch of logs down here. A few logs over there. All sorts of neat stuff. These settings can all be adjusted a little bit more or less to be more helpful for seeing things more clearly. But for today, I think this is probably going to be about as good as I'm going to get it, just because I don't know. I'll spend more time looking things up, but really neat. You can see all these logs, all these structure, all these things down here, and basically I can kind of mark those and say, hey, that's that log right there. There's probably a bass hiding near there. Same with that log, or like any of these. As for fish, you can look at this right here. You can see these little white spots that are floating there and casting a shadow. It is very safe to assume that those are some fish right there. And this is just using the side imaging, but that's what you'll be looking for to try to see if you can find fish on the side imaging. So safe to say those are probably fish. Could be bass. Looks like there's a few more down here. So in this kind of whole area right there, looks like there's some fish hanging out. Pretty neat. But basically I want to find those spots that have fish with them, and then I don't know how to do it, but oh yeah, I can take this cursor here, see how I can move it around. I can then mark these spots, and then I can switch this over to GPS mode or the down imaging mode and then come back over those spots. But I think for now that's going to be a little too advanced for me, so I'm not going to quite yet do that. Pretty neat though. We're at 39.1 degrees Fahrenheit. Very cold water. Now we're heading out into 21 feet of depth. And you can see this black space is getting quite a bit bigger now. One neat thing is I can look at what I'm going over right now, and I see nothing down there. There's no structure. There's really no signs of fish or anything. And I've spent a lot of time fishing out in some of these deeper spots trying to see if I could find any fish, and I could tell right now if I was to be fishing right here, it'd be wasting my time. This isn't necessarily going to help me catch fish, but it's going to help me find out where the fish are and where they aren't. But yeah, this is very clearly showing me that I'm in just like a desert right now. There's nothing out here. I have played around with the fish finder. I think I kind of get the gist of it now. Interesting thing is I've gone around and seen a few fish already. So I'm going to go ahead and leave on the side view scan and the smaller space on the side here. We got the 2D scan, which will basically tell me when there's fish. I went ahead and put fish ID on there, so when a fish goes by on right below me, it'll tell me. Just right off the get-go, I found that there's been a few fish on this side. I haven't seen anything out there, and I haven't seen anything out in the center. So already I have an idea of where the fish are and where they aren't, which is super valuable. But for starters, I think I want to start right here with a little Ned rig. So we're basically just coming back to where I've already seen a fish, and it was hanging out right over here. But right now, I'm just going to kind of go back over a few spots where I saw some fish, and then we'll see if this puppy helps. Already, I can say this is not normally an area of the lake that I usually try to fish that often, so I often just kind of didn't view it as being a very productive spot. But that is different now. The fish have been up closer to the bank than I was expecting. I'll venture around the lake quite a bit more still, but it's already quite curious. Alright, so what I'd kind of like to do at this point is to find a spot where there is a bunch of fish. So I think we're gonna start just we're just gonna keep exploring around the lake here. And my goal is to find a spot where there's a bunch of fish hanging out. To my understanding, in the wintertime, there should be some spots where there's kind of like a school of them held up, not just like one or two fish. So we're gonna just keep puttering around here until we see what we're looking for. Alright, I do see a fish on the side imaging here. He is kind of hanging out right over here. Let's see if we can see a nice little clearly contrasted spot with a shadow. That tells me there is a fish right there. So let's go ahead and see if we can casting. I mean, I am not able to tell where these spots are 100%, but I can try to get it, in the vicinity, I guess. I don't know how well you guys can see it, but I can tell that right at the choke point up here, this lake breaks into two separate spots, and there's kind of a narrow channel right there. That whole side over there looks like it is frozen to bits. I can see a bunch of broken up ice from a boat that tried to pass through there. So crazy. This whole side of the lake is probably averages around 15 feet deep, so it makes sense that it would have frozen. But God, it looks just like a solid sheet of ice out there. Looks a lot more frozen than my local lake was. But I still don't see anything on the fish finder. Really interesting. So far, I mean, God, 99% of what I've been scanning down there's just kind of shows nothing. Shows that I'd be wasting my time. Sean said some guys in some boats came down through here and tried to plow through it, but I think they had to give up. But let's go ahead and pull up our transducer here. 2, 1. Cool. Yeah, I definitely won't be able to go too far, but we'll go as far as we can, just for funsies. But yeah, my transducer arm, I just pull that right up and I rest it right there. We're good to go. See if we can navigate through this a little better than the Titanic did. For those of you that don't know, I am wearing a full dry suit. If the worst were to happen and I fell in this water, I would be fine. It would still suck, but no water can get in past my wrists or my neck. Everything's 100% waterproof all the way through and through. Not something I'm looking to test out or anything, but it's I think it's just important that you know that I'm not being too crazy right now. Just a little crazy. So some fairly thick ice we're dealing with here. How cool is this? It's super rare for the lakes to freeze around here, so I understand that most of the country this is like not interesting, but for me this is crazy. I'll try to be careful I don't get stuck out here. Oh yeah, that's a lot thicker than the ice was at on my lake. Grab a piece of it here to show you. Yeah, it's like about a ½ inch thick. So ½ inch thick ice is not, I don't know. This is probably, I don't want to damage the kayak, but I'll at least get up to the edge of it up here. Honestly, if I go through it slow enough, I'll make sure not to damage my motor. I just want to get up to this point up here, and then I'll turn around. Cool. You probably already know what I'm about to do with this. Alright. For the homies. That was awesome. Alright, well, we've been out here for 2 hours. I haven't really done any fishing yet. We played with the fish finder. We went and played with the ice. I've explored around a few areas that I thought would be productive for bass, and were not. And that's interesting. Once I get the fish finder figured out and I really learn how to use it, and if I start like figuring out how to catch fish with it, I'll go ahead and I'll get a better camera set up over here so you guys can see it better. But let's go ahead and I'm gonna go over this log right here with the 2D and see if I see any fish hanging out next to it. I see the log on there, but I don't see any fish hanging out on it. Oh, there's one. There's another one. Alright, well, it says they're right below me, so let's... Alright, time to get moving again. We are starting to find some fish. Oh, what a beautiful day. Can't get over how nice it is. This is crazy how nice it is today. Oh boy, sun's going down. Sadly, that means it's starting to get kind of late. Didn't see that coming. I was kind of worried that I'd end up spending a little too much time focused on this and not enough time fishing today. Alright, well, as I kind of suspected, this is going to be a multi-part video. We're going to come out again, and I will go and learn and practice some things about how to use this a little bit better. And then, I mean, fishing is tough right now, but not bad for the first go at it. I got to come out and found some fish, saw some fish, found a few spots where there were fish. I probably should have spent a little more time fishing those spots once I did find them, but yeah, it's okay. That's I think this is pretty much what I expected to happen from today, is to come out and learn how to use this thing, and I think I kind of got the gist of it, which is pretty awesome. It wasn't that bad to figure out. I'll be back out in a few more days, and we'll give it another go. And we'll just keep coming out here in the wintertime. Hopefully this lake doesn't freeze up. I mean, already half of it is frozen, so I'm sure at any point I could end up showing up to this lake and it'll just be completely rock solid. And that'd be kind of funny. Drive all the way out here and have to just leave. But yeah, that was awesome. Fish finder's really cool. Had a lot of fun playing around with it today. We'll come back out again and try it again. Hopefully we'll catch a bass then. Hope you join me. If so, I'll see you then. If not, then... But it's time for me to head home. It's getting super dark. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video.